Boys, can I get a round of applause here? We gotta celebrate something special. It's time to pop those champagne bottles that you've been waiting to pop because Johnny Somali has finally been guaranteed prison time. Woo! Now, honestly, it feels a little weird to be happy that someone's going to jail. That's not normally something that, like, we're going fucking ham over, but I think this situation warrants a special celebration because I think Johnny Somali isn't really a guy that needs an introduction, especially if you've been on the internet for the past little while. But if for some reason I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and maybe you don't know Johnny Somali, he is basically one of those prank channels. Actually, prank isn't even a good word for it. He is a channel that is there to just be a nuisance to society. He is like, imagine the most stereotypical YouTuber, you know, causing a scene in public or just being not good to be around in public, anything related to that. That is Johnny Somali to a T. Now, I don't want to give the whole rundown on his past and who he is and everything like that, but Johnny Somali recently went to South Korea, and in South Korea, he put up the worst KDR I've ever seen in my life. I think he went like 0-14. I've never seen someone get their shit kicked in so hard so many times. It's like he was a fucking magnet for fists to the face. It was awesome. Now, getting to what's happened now, basically, he did a lot of bad things in South Korea. They were trying to get him for a bunch of misdemeanors. They were trying to get him for obstruction of business and violations of the Minor Crimes Act. And it doesn't seem like they really got him on those. But what they ended up catching him on is an AI deepfake scandal. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I haven't dove super deep into this. And by the time this video uploads, this will be old news. But I wanted to talk about it because I've made videos on Johnny in the past. And I feel like it's just an excellent conclusion to our fairy tale story. But they finally got him on a deepfake AI generated video that depicted popular Korean streamer Bong Bong in fabricated intimate scenes with Somali. Sounds like a great guy, swell character, good person to be around and have online and have a presence. Obviously, that sort of thing's a no bueno, so rightfully so, he got slapped with jail time. Now, I haven't seen actually how much he is getting, but I do know that it's guaranteed. That is the big thing that we are celebrating here today, is that his jail time is guaranteed. And I think, honestly, he deserves it. I think most people could probably agree with me and say that he deserves it. I think a lot of YouTube pranksters, I think a lot of them do deserve consequences for their actions. I think anybody deserves consequences for their actions. And not to get all philosophical, because again, it's 1 a.m. and getting philosophical at this time of the night is a little dangerous. But I think seeing so much success with doing bad things like that is just an encouragement. And it doesn't matter how many people tell you that you're a bad person. It doesn't matter how many articles are written about you or how much bad publicity you get, or even how much you get the shit kicked out of you if you're Johnny Somali. Nothing is gonna change that. And that logic even goes far back to the earlier days of YouTube, with Logan Paul showing the dead body in the Japanese forest. You know, it took him doing an act that fundamentally changed everything in his life. His whole life was uprooted for probably the course of a month. I mean, his consequences weren't severe, retro speaking, but kind of in relation to what he did, the punishments weren't nearly enough. But they were enough in the sense that it just changed his content and what he does. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen with Johnny Somali. Now, some people probably would think I'm a bit of an optimist for thinking that someone like this will change. And I could see why you think that. I don't really blame you for thinking that at all, because as we know, Johnny Somali isn't known for being the most brain-centered person. But I think him going through jail, and depending on how long he's there, him going through the experience of, again, probably getting the shit kicked out of him, because as we know by now, his sick South Korean KDR isn't that great. Like I said, he's probably 0-14. By the time he gets out of prison, he's probably going to be used to getting so many wedgies. I do think it'll be really interesting. Like, is he actually going to change from prison? And I don't know how good the South Korean justice system is in the sense of rehabilitating people and their thoughts. Obviously, Johnny Somali, I think, is going to realize that, you know, the things he does online aren't really worth what he's gonna face in prison, or aren't really worth what he's faced in prison, if he's looking back on it. But I'm at least hoping that's what he learns, because I also see it where he could possibly get out of prison and online content could be the only thing he has. And what comes with content creation on his side of things is just being a public nuisance and continuing to travel to countries in order to be provocative and make provocative content that makes headlines, makes people angry, and just keeps eyes on him. I do think it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. I'm really hoping that he changes for the better because I think people can change. Even though he seems really far gone. He's in the deep end of the kiddie pool here, but I like to be optimistic about this sort of thing, even though I think he deserves every consequence and every piece of jail time that he's gotten, and some as well. I think this will be a good wake-up call for him. It'll be good for him to hit rock bottom, maybe get his holes blasted with some South Korean men. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be super interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about it. I know this video is going to come out like a few days later than I'm even recording now, which is pretty late to this whole situation. But I thought it would be a nice little conclusion to the few videos I've made about him. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.